Hello and welcome to our presentation on the automotive sector of what we do with the apprenticeships at Telford College. So as you've just heard from Richard, we've got some fantastic facilities at Telford College with the automotive side of things, and we also obviously deliver that through an apprenticeship style of learning as well. So what I'll look to run through in the PowerPoint is just what an apprenticeship is. We'll meet a few apprentices that are starting their journey and sort of a year in or are there or thereabouts, and look at the next steps as well of what you can put in place now to start looking at when you finish school and you've done your GCSEs and you've got your grades, what's going to give you the best chance of getting into an apprenticeship, because they are very competitive, and the more that you can do now to really sort of put those foundations in place, it really is the better. So in the apprenticeship, it's working full time whilst gaining that qualification and obviously getting paid for it. It obviously starts you off on, your career path, and that could sort of diverse into a variety of different things within the automotive industry. But it's giving you lots of transferable skills to, push on with, to learn, to develop your knowledge, your skill, and really sort of put the foundations into a fantastic career, hopefully, as well. As it says there, you get valuable hands-on experience, and that's so valuable within the sort of automotive industry. Conversations I have with garage owners all the time and people within the industry always sort of come back to that experience, which is really sort of important, to the industry. Obviously, again, it looks at the training and what you look at with that side of things. So again, with the apprenticeship opportunity, you'll be in a garage and you'll be working under a mentor to sort of give you that hands-on experience and that sort of realistic of what's happening in a garage, what's happening in a dealership, etc. But also you get the day release aspects to come into Telford College to use the facilities, and to sort of slow down and really look at the sort of ins and the outs of things, because sometimes in that garage environment it's that busy and it's very busy. It's that fast paced. Sometimes you don't get that chance to sort of slow down sometimes. So it's nice to come into college and use the facilities for that reason, really. In terms of your rights and responsibilities as an employee, exactly the same as, someone who isn't an apprentice. You'll get a contract of employment. You'll get things like holiday leave. It's exactly the same as any employee, really. Okay. So looking at the automotive sector and what sort of things that you would do within the apprenticeship, you'd learn aspects of servicing, maintaining, repairing, light vehicles, obviously sort of complex faults, any diagnostic methods, and using different equipment to, work out the faults in different cars and different vehicles. You'll look at obviously the analytical and the mechanical skills as well, and that research and problem solving, really, that's really the key for diagnosing issues with cars, that sort of problem solving skills. What we don't want to teach too much is relying on the diagnostic machines, although they are very important, are obviously going forwards within the industry. It's really getting those foundation skills of going back to problem solving and listening out for noises, looking at certain things and how they're running, and making sure that, again, that foundation is very good as well. Obviously, again, being organised, methodical, great attention to detail, all really good skills to look at the automotive section as well, and obviously good communication skills and working as part of a team. Obviously, garage units are very, sometimes very small. They're sometimes have that sort of need to be, really good within a team. You can see just down on the bottom there the duration of the apprenticeship, so 36 months. And entry requirements are 4 in maths and English. Really important that you're laying those foundations now for your maths and your English, really trying to get as much as possible done, putting those hard hours in and that bit of work to really push those grades up as far as you can. Teachers will be telling you that, parents will be telling you that, but we can't emphasize that enough as well. In such a competitive industry and such a competitive area in apprenticeships, those grades are such a good important thing as well to have. Looking at the progression of the automotive side of things, we've looked at obviously salary and what you can sort of expect. So in that first year of an apprenticeship and looking at sort of apprenticeship minimum wage and sort of a little bit more than that, you can see the scales of sort of £7,000 to £10,000 there. Obviously moving into the second year, you'd be expecting to earn a little bit more, sort of in that 10 to 15,000 bracket. And obviously then when you gain more experience and go on to senior roles, you can see sort of what sort of money you'd potentially be expecting to earn there. The one key thing I would certainly say is, how fast you get to certain levels is certainly down to your individual personality and having that drive and proactiveness to push. The one thing I say to apprentices throughout any industry is what you put in is certainly what you'll get out, and that's absolutely key for me in terms of developing your career. You can see with some of the employers we've worked with in 2020. So you've got Wenlock Motors, MDG, Motor Services, Trenchlock Autos, a few of the garages there. Some really positive employers, and we can't speak highly enough of them at the moment. They're fantastic in what they do, the service and the support they give to apprentices, and obviously developing them along the next couple of years in their journey, really. We'll meet a couple of the apprentices here. So we've got Robert, again, started his career totally different. He's a little bit older than obviously a school leaver going into an apprenticeship. But with this year and COVID, he looked at sort of retraining really off the back of redundancy. And he's found himself into an industry that he's really passionate about and absolutely loves. And he's, in the first 2 or 3 months, he's sort of gone on from strength to strength, even in that short amount of time. Again, Matthew, probably similar story to Rob, really. His career was sort of manager at Aldi, and again, it's retraining really, and he's at Cox Bodyworks now, so he's doing a variety of light vehicle maintenance and repair, and obviously bodywork. So again, really enjoying the time he's had. Finley here, he's a school leaver, so again, probably in the sort of same position that you guys are now, going back a year or so. Finley, really nice young chap, went out, was really proactive in terms of approaching garages, having a conversation with business owners and garage owners, and he found his own apprenticeship, which was great, because what that does is sort of eliminated any competition. So something we really sort of ask people to do is, alongside us having conversations and working with employers, it's really making sure that any sort of people you can get exposure to as well, you do that as well, and it's a bit of a team effort to get you into these garages, and they are out there, lots of great garage owners ready to sort of support young people coming into the industry. It really is fantastic, but it's finding as many opportunities as you can and speaking to as many people as you can as well. The expectations we have, is coming back to those grades again, grades 4 or more for your English and your maths. Can't stress that enough. The more that you do with those now and the effort that you put into those now, you really will reap the rewards. If you don't quite get to those standards, come and speak to us anyway. We've got a really friendly team within the apprenticeship department, and we'll guide you in the right area. We will obviously give you the right advice and see where we can push you. Obviously, I don't know whether you just tuned into Richard's PowerPoint, but there's lots of different qualifications that you can potentially look at, going on to initially for maybe a year, get a level 2 under your belt and some experience, and then push those English and maths grades up. So there's lots of options. Any doubt, come and speak to us, because we're really happy to help. Again, looking at work ethic, and that's in regards to sort of the garage owners and where you are in terms of your placement, but also at Telford College. And as I sort of previously said, what you put into an apprenticeship is what you will get out. It really is. If you've got a fantastic attitude and work ethic, then you really will prosper and you'll be successful. The work experience and the volunteering, those are great aspects that you can put in place now. And I know it's a tough time with COVID and approaching garages, but what you can do in terms of getting little bits of work experience now, whether it's going into garages on a Saturday or doing little bits of part-time, if you can, here and there in half terms and things like that, really will stand you in good stead. Because one thing garage owners really sort of push for when I have conversations with them is, why does this person want to get into the automotive industry? And they have that doubt because they're looking at that reliability and commitment. If you've got proven experience or proven sort of track record of you've gone into a garage and you've made yourself be proactive to do that, volunteering, anything like that, and just going into garages and helping out, it looks so good on your CV, and it looks so good when we're having a conversation with employers, or you are as well, because you can talk to people about what you've done and why you've done that. It's really powerful. Commitment, being proactive, things I've mentioned already, standing out from the crowd. So again, that comes back to grades, comes back to work experience and volunteering and what you've done previously, and also just that personality as well, really. The more that you can do to stand out, the better. So really, really think about all those things in terms of what you can put in place now to push you forwards, going into sort of, May, June, July next year, and really sort of putting those foundations in place. Really, really important. And have a backup plan. So that's really important to us as well, and something we always advise people on is, obviously we want to work with you to push you into an apprenticeship if that's your sort of route and that's what you would like to do. And we'll try our hardest to do that. We've got some fantastic contacts out there, and they really, really, really will help people into apprenticeships. But also have that backup plan, because you want to be realistic as well. It doesn't always work out, and there are some fantastic routes. We've got a young lad on an apprenticeship at the moment who didn't quite get an apprenticeship going back to last year. But he then came to college, did a level 2, got some work experience, which is important, and then he pushed on from there in terms of being successful for an apprenticeship this year. So that was really important for him. So definitely have that backup plan. If you're interested in apprenticeships, we've got a few of the frequently asked questions here. So how long will my application take? The original application form coming through to speak to us is very, very quick. In terms of getting into a successful position, that just depends. It depends on obviously going over and speaking to people and having those interview processes, but we will, we'll support you the whole way. So whether that is very quick or is it a little bit slower. How many interviews will I have? Again, we'll work with you. Some people are successful first interview. Some people just get beaten to the post and they might have a second or a third interview, but we'll work with you on that and really make sure you're giving advice to get better and better and better with interviews, so you represent yourself as best as possible. Can I find my own employer? Absolutely, yeah. As I said previously, it eliminates that competition. It means that you're approaching that garage and sort of representing yourself, and can be really, really successful. So that's certainly something we would advise on. And yeah, if you can hit some local garages and have conversations, then obviously brilliant. What if I don't get the grades? As I mentioned, come and speak to us, really. That's the most important thing. Come and have a chat to us. We'll give you the right advice on where we can push you and where we can support you and advise you, really. If you're not sure what apprenticeship to do, again, come and speak to us. Ultimately, we'll give you the right advice and really try and steer you on what you're passionate about and what you're going to get the most out of. And should I have a backup plan? Absolutely, so like I've mentioned previously. So if you want to look at apprenticeships going forwards, firstly, really work hard on those grades. Look at creating a CV for yourself and getting out on some work experience or some voluntary work, and start researching companies and local garages that are potentially within your reach of traveling to, because that's a really important first step as well. In terms of anything else, anything that you can get on your CV, anything that you can talk about yourself, be extra and really put in the work now and over the next few months to give yourself some fantastic foundations to push forwards and being a successful person.